I'm Eric Nason with Newsshooter.com, and I'm at the station right now. I'm actually setting up a shot here in the studio because tomorrow, Friday, Lester Holt from NBC Nightly News is going to come down to the station, and we're going to shoot a little promo with him and two of our anchors. And the problem I'm going to have here is, well, the C300 Mark II has two XLR inputs, and I usually don't need more than two channels of audio, to be honest with you, but I do tomorrow. So I was talking to my buddy Gary about the 3.5 input on the C300 Mark II and if it was usable. And he said, well, let me check, because he remembers he uses it on occasion, but in a different way. So I thought, well, might as well test too. So we both did a little bit of a test and we found, well, yeah, it is usable and it does work pretty well, but you have to have the right cables or the configuration to make it work. So this is kind of how I got it working. Before I show you the setup, this is the actual promo. Lester has the hard line and the two anchors are using the wireless.
Evenings turn to coverage you count on.
With two news teams working for you.
We're breaking news and investigating San Diego.
And getting to stories across the country and around the world.
Evenings turn to coverage you count on.
With two news teams working for you.
We're breaking news and investigating San Diego.
And getting to stories around the country and across the world.
Evenings turn to coverage you count on.
With two news teams working for you.
We're breaking news and investigating San Diego.
And getting to the stories across the country and around the world.
Basically, I have my COS 11 hardline going into the XLR input into the C300 Mark II. And then I also have an Electrosonics here. This is a wireless system. The receiver uses mini XLR, or also known as TA3. But it's going into a splitter cable that actually is the 3.5 that's on the body of the camera. Now, I never use this audio input because I'm always using XLR. But by using this cable, I can get two more channels of audio. Now this is a 3.5 input is stereo. So if you buy just a normal cable that's not especially made or split, it's going to send both of these channels into both left and right. So it's going to mix them, and that's not ideal. You can also use this cable with XLRs instead of TA3s. We'll go into the menu. I'll show you how to set it up. We want to select audio input. Now here, on default, that microphone will be turned off. So we go down here to manual mic mode. This is where you want to turn that on. Now, in default, it's on automatic or manual. So if it's on automatic, then your audio levels are going to be picked for you, which is danger zone if you ask me. I don't ever want to do that. So I always want to have control of my audio input. So you go to manual, and now this area here is not grayed out anymore. So you go into the mic level, and here's where you adjust your levels. Now you're going to see here that the mic is on left and right. So I'm sending a stereo feed into it, but I'm also sending it separate with the cable. Now a downside here is you don't have individual channel record level options here. It's going to be global to left and right. Even though you're using it as channels 1 and 2, the system is really set up for a stereo pair here that is for left and right. The setup is easy, but you do have to have the right cables in the right situation. Now, the XLR input does have phantom power, and I'm using Sanken COS 11 microphones that do not, the hard lines, they don't have the little battery in it. This is a different model. I didn't need to get a battery type version of it because I knew I was going to be using it direct. Well, in hindsight now, I kind of wish I had the regular kind that had the battery in it to supply phantom power for this situation. But if you have a cable that has split, now you could take that 3.5 millimeter input and split it into a stereo, or split it into a dual mono, excuse me. Woof, I'm getting confused myself here. Then you're good to go to have those extra two channels that come in. Now you can also send one audio in and it'll send it to both tracks, left and right, but I don't want that. And if I have two audio inputs going in there, that makes it even worse because now I have two people mixed in the left and right channel, and I don't like that. For editing, that's not a good thing. So being able to have the two channels, actually turning that stereo into 1 and 2 instead of left and right, super handy. Now you might be able to do this as well if your camera has a 3.5 and you can get that in there with your XLR. It's kind of a cool way to work. It's an easy way to get away from using an audio recorder, and there's nothing wrong with using an audio recorder. It's just I don't really have one on hand, and I really do prefer having all my audio into the camera because the C300 Mark II does have good preamps in there, and I've been pretty happy with the audio that I get. All right, well that's it. Hope it helps you if you need 4 channels of audio into your C300 Mark II or other camera.